did not go to war. War came through them. The morning frost cracks under naked feet. I shed the iron before the drums begin. The hide of the great bear wraps my heat, and everything that was a man grows thin. The birch trees watch me through the pale white smoke. The elder presses ash upon my brow. No words are spoken, only what is woke inside the marrow, only here and now. The breath comes slow at first and then like fire. The jaw unhinges, teeth meet hard and wood. I do not aim for glory, gold or higher. I do not fight for king or brotherhood. Something older than my name takes hold, something wilder than the winter cold. The ground stops speaking, so do all my fears. The last sound that I hear is disappears. Bare-shirt warrior walking through the smoke. On the day the Allfather finally spoke. Through the hide of the ancient and the slain, I carry something bigger than my pain. Bare-shirt warrior, the forest knows my name. The rivers part and mountains do the same. Neither axe nor ember stops the tide. Oh, when the bear is what lives deep inside. They count the ranks and measure up the steel. They study formations, time the charge. They calculate the odds and what they feel. I study nothing, I become the large. The shapeless burning that precedes the break. The point where calculation falls away. When every instinct rises in its wake and turns the battlefield to primal clay. 3 centuries of warriors wore this skin. 3 centuries of storms inside the chest. I am the newest vessel, let it in, and let the ancient fury do the rest. Something older than my name takes hold, something wilder than the winter cold. The ground stops speaking, so do all my fears. The last sound that I hear is disappears. Bare-shirt warrior walking through the smoke.
On the day the Allfather finally,
On the day the Allfather finally spoke.
through the hide of the ancient and
Through the hide of the ancient and the slain,
I carry something.
I carry something bigger than my pain. Bare-shirt warrior,
The forest knows my name. The forest knows my name. The rivers part and mountains do the same. Mountains do the same. Neither axe nor ember stops the tide.
oh,
When the bear is what lives deep inside.
my father was a farmer. He planted rye and barley in the ground. My grandfather was a raider who came back changed without a sound. He never spoke of what he carried home. He only stared into the fire at night, until the drums would call across the loam, and he'd be gone again before the light. I understood it on the day I turned, when something pressed against the back of my skull. A hand from somewhere ancient, something earth. Across the blood, across the centuries that pull. I am not mad, I am appointed.
I am not broken,
I am anointed. Berserk warrior walking through the smoke.
on the day the Allfather finds.
On the day the Allfather finally spoke.
Through the height of the ancient and
Through the height of the ancient and the slain.
I carry something.
I carry something bigger than my pain. Berserk warrior,
The forest knows my name.
the forest knows my name.
The rivers part and mountains do the same.
And mountains do the same.
Neither axe nor ember stops the tide.
When the bear is what lives deep inside me. When the battle ended, he sat alone in the field, head down, hands shaking. Just a farmer's son again, until the next drum. Across the shoulder, the jaw set hard as granite stone. I am the kind that grows much older by learning how to walk alone. I do not march in formation, I do not hold a shield wall line. I am the outer edge, the station where civilization ends and the wolves shine. Odin called us from the bloodlines, tested every sun and every side, found the ones who crossed the cold pines and felt at home inside the fire. He named us Wolfcoat, named us Fury. He placed us at the long ship's prow. No king alive acts as our jury. We answer to the Allfather's vow. The wolf inside does not negotiate. The wolf inside does not deliberate. It reads the wind and reads the bone and moves before the mind has known. Úlfhédinn, the wolf code and the dark. Úlfhédinn, who carries Odin's mark. We are the gray line between order and the wild. We are what happens when a warrior goes feral as a child. Úlfhédinn, the howl that breaks the dawn.
Úlfhédinn,
Úlfhédinn, the battle barely won. Gary and Frankie circle at my heels. No wall was ever built that the wolf coat never peels. They brought us east to Miklagartha, the golden city by the narrow sea. The emperor watched us from the yard and asked his generals what we'd cost to free. We stood before the Varangian gate, 12 wolf coats, pelts still wet from sail. The general said these men came far and late. We said the wolf is always on the trail. we guarded golden halls. For 30 years we kept the eastern door. But every night when the dark descended walls, we'd hear the north wind and want nothing more. The city fed us silver, silk and wine. They called us mercenaries, we were more. We were the border of the old design, the last wolves living on a foreign shore. The wolf inside does not negotiate. The wolf inside does not deliberate. It reads the wind and reads the bone and moves before the mind has known. Úlfhédinn, the wolf coat and the dark.
Úlfhédinn,
Úlfhédinn, who carries Odin's mark.
Úlfhédinn,
We are the gray line between order and the wild. We are what happens when a warrior goes feral as a child. Úlfhédinn, the howl that breaks the dawn.
Úlfhédinn,
Úlfhédinn, the battle barely won. Gary and Frankie circle at my heels. No wall was ever built that the wolf coat never peels. You want to understand the wolf coat? Come stand where the tree line ends, where the known world stops and the cold floats, and the sky no longer bends to human sight or human comfort. Where the compass starts to lie, that is where the Úlfhédinn is sharpest. That is where we never die. Not because we are immortal, not because we cannot bleed, but because the wolf who walks the border has long since stopped confusing want from need. We need nothing but the open, we need nothing but the call. Everything between the drum and going we can leave behind. We leave it all. Úlfhédinn,
the wolf coat and the dark.
Úlfhédinn, Úlfhédinn,
Who carries Odin's mark?
Úlfhédinn. We are the gray line between order and the wild.
We are what happens when the warrior goes feral as a child.
Úlfhédinn,
The howl that breaks the dawn.
Úlfhédinn, Úlfhédinn,
The battle barely won.
Úlfhédinn. Gary and Frankie circle at my heels.
No wall was ever built.
No chain was ever forged that the wolf coat never peels. They could not explain it in the sagas. Not really. They only knew what it looked like from the outside. Nobody asked what it felt like from within. Until now. It does not announce itself with trumpets. It comes the way a fever comes at night. A slow unwinding of the quiet, a dimming of the ordinary light. The edges of the world grow soft and amber. The voices of my brothers lose their shape. My heartbeat drops to something without number, and then the door inside begins to gape. It is not rage, not thirst, not really. It is more like stepping into deep cold water, where you can still think but only barely, and thinking matters less and less thereafter.
I watch myself begin to leave.
Like watching smoke rise from a frozen field.
What is left does not grieve.
What is left has learned to transformation. Berserker Gang, it has no explanation. The man dissolves like salt in black sea water. And what remains was here long before his father. Berserker Gang, the crossing of the threshold. Berserker Gang, the new face of the threshold. There is a word in Nordic for what happens here. To become what you most deeply are without the fear. Inside the trance, the battlefield is silent, or not silent, but all one single sound. A frequency beneath the human torrent, a note that nails my 2 feet to the ground. And from that stillness total and enormous, the body moves in ways the mind forgot. It does not aim or calculate or chorus, it only does what flesh was built to plot. When it lifts, and it always lifts eventually, I am sitting somewhere cold and spent. I cannot fully reconstruct the entry, I only know how far inside I went. The shield men say I was among the fallen, 3 lines deep and howling at the sky. They say the enemy stopped calling and simply stepped aside to let me by.
I watch myself begin to leave,
like watching smoke rise from a frozen field.
What is left does not breathe,
what is left has learned to wield.
Berserker Gang,
the oldest transformation.
Berserker Gang,
it has no explanation. The man dissolves like salt in black sea water. And what remains was here long before his father.
Berserker Gang,
the crossing of the threshold.
Berserker Gang,
the new face of the threshold. There is a word in Nordico for what happens here. To become what you most deeply are without the fear. The skalds call it a gift of Odin. The priests of the new faith call it sin. The healers call it fever or delusion, a sickness wearing warrior's skin. I call it none of those entirely. I call it the most honest I have been. The version of myself that functions purely. The truest self that others rarely see. Because the world demands we wear a face that fits between the hall and hearth and kin. The Berserker Gang removes that carapace, and what pours out is only what's within.
Judge that what you will from where you're standing.
Judge it safe from where no drums can find you.
I carry what I carry without demanding
that you understand the thing that lives behind you. So yes, tomorrow I'll return to quiet, to the daughter and the cooking fire and rain. I'll answer questions in a voice that's private and pretend the ordinary world is sane. But somewhere underneath a careful measure, somewhere in the bone that doesn't sleep, the Berserker Gang waits, ancient beyond pleasure, a promise that the Allfather chose to keep. Berserker Gang,
the oldest transformation.
Berserker Gang,
it has no explanation.
The man dissolves like salt in black sea water.
And what remains was here long before his father.
Berserker Gang, the crossing of the threshold. Berserker Gang,
the new face of the threshold.
There is a word in Nordico for what happens here. To become what you most deeply are without the fear. There is a moment before the charge when everything goes impossibly large and impossibly quiet at the same time, when the only thing moving is the climb of something up the ladder of the spine, something that precedes the front line, something that the body learned before the mind ever understood what a war was for, or what it cost, or what it gave, something older than the fear of the grave, something that the oak tree also knows. Before the lightning comes, the stillness grows, and in that stillness, that's where it lives. That's where the Berserker Gang gives its first signal, its first small sign. The jaw begins to find the shield's rim line. Not madness, no, read it right. Not a weakness taking cover before the fight. The bite is the moment of full consent, the moment you accept what you were sent. Bite the shield, the oldest store. Bite the shield, what the ritual is for. Not the drama, not the war cry overhead, but the quiet crossing into what's ahead. Bite the shield, the ceremony of the true. Bite the shield, the thing that only few in any generation understand or dare. Bite the shield and meet the beast in there. I watched my teacher do it first when I was 10, standing at the edge of a summer raid. He did not howl, he did not warn the men, he simply bit and everything was made clear to me in that one witness moment what the elders meant when they described the gift. It was not about the volume or the torment, it was about the deliberate quiet shift from ordinary warrior to the chosen, from the calculated to the instinct pure. The bite was not the sign that he'd been broken, the bite was how he made the crossing sure. And when the charge began, he was already gone, already past the self that doubts and weighs, already in the place where the ancient song replaces all the fog of human hate. Not madness, no, read it right. Not a weakness taking cover before the fight. The bite is the moment of full consent, the moment you accept what you were sent. Bite the shield, the oldest door. Bite the shield, what the ritual is for. Not the drama, not the war cry overhead, but the quiet crossing into what's ahead. Bite the shield, the ceremony of the true. Bite the shield, the thing that only few in any generation understand or dare. Bite the shield and meet the beast in there. You can train the body every morning, you can sharpen every skill you own, you can read the sagas and the warning, you can master tactics stone by stone. But there is a final room at the center that no curriculum can teach or map, the room you only enter when you step across the final gap between the person that the world constructed, the version that performs and plans and fears, and the thing that was never quite instructed because it came before your name, before your years. That room is where the Berserker Gang is living. That room is what the bite opens up, not taking, no, but giving yourself fully to the cup. So I raise the shield and feel the wood grain against the edge of what my jaw holds tight, and I release the last of what's mundane, and I become the instrument of night and morning, and everything between the two, the oldest, truest, only thing I knew. Before I learned a language, before I learned a name, before the world told me that a wildness was a shame. When it passes and the field grows quiet, when the shaking comes and I'm on one knee, I'll find the shield rim splintered from the riot and hold it for a moment just to see the indentation of the teeth still pressed there, the evidence of what I chose to cross. And I'll feel something that is close to sacred, something that is far beyond all loss, because I did not flinch, I did not barter, did not negotiate with what was asked. I was the wolf, I was the bear, I was the martyr of the only ritual that had as ever lasted. Bite the shield, the oldest door. Bite the shield, what the ritual is for. Not the drama, not the war cry overhead, but the quiet crossing into what's ahead. Bite the shield, the ceremony of the true. Bite the shield, the thing that only few in any generation understand or dare. Bite the shield and meet the beast in there. Bite, cross, and never look back. names for what I carry. Before the first sword ever kissed the stone, something moved across the vast and starry expanse of what would one day be my bone. Odin did not choose me in a vision, he chose me in the choosing of my blood. 4 generations back, a quiet decision, a hand pressed down into the northern mud. And something passed, some charge, some living ember, into the lineage, into the deep grain. Now every winter carries the December of something ancient surging through my frame. I did not ask, nor did the ones before me. Ask the Allfather to press his gift inside. It is not a curse, though some nights that works for me. It is simply what I cannot set aside. He did not tell me what it would demand, he only placed his mark inside my hand. One eye watching always from the high, list scalp thrown from where the ravens fly. Blood of the Allfather forged in my chest, blood of the Allfather put to the test. Not a legacy of glory, not a crown, but a burning in the marrow that won't drown. Blood of the Allfather carved into the bone, blood of the Allfather never fully known. I am the vessel and the vessel is the fire, I am the death that precedes all desire. I've met men who envied what they thought I had, who saw the battlefield and wanted the reputation. They had not seen the 3-day aftermath, the shaking hands, the wordless devastation. The gift is not a medal you can wear, the gift is not a story for the hall. The gift is being chosen by a bear that does not care if you are standing tall, that does not care if you are tired or broken, that does not care about your plans for spring. The Allfather's gifts arrive without a token, without a warning, just the answering of something deeper than your name or title, just something in the structure of your blood that says yes, I was built for this recital. The oldest one, the axe, the frost, the mud. He did not tell me what it would demand, he only placed his mark inside my hand. One eye watching always from the high, list scalp thrown from where the ravens fly. Blood of the Allfather forged in my chest, blood of the Allfather put to the test. Not a legacy of glory, not a crown, but a burning in the marrow that won't drown. Blood of the Allfather carved into the bone, blood of the Allfather never fully known. I am the vessel and the vessel is the fire, I am the death that precedes all desire. Odin gave his eye for wisdom, Odin gave his comfort for the room. He hung upon the tree in the abysm and spoke to no one underneath the moon. For 9 full days, no water, no one near him, nothing but the darkness and the ash, until the runes arose and he could hear them, the cracking of a cosmic ancient latch. I think about the tree on the long evenings, I think about the cost of what was sought, that every gift of Odin has its meanings, and every meaning has its toll of thought. So I carry this without complaint or virtue, I carry this because it is not mine. It passed through me, it will pass further, deeper into the bloodline, down the vine to some child not yet born in the far winter, who wakes one morning with the trembling chest, who feels the ember, feels the ancient splinter of what the Allfather placed in all the rest of us, his chosen, his unbroken, his tools against the long and coming dark. Not gods, just vessels, just a spoken continuation of his burning. Blood of the Allfather chest. Blood of the Allfather put to the test. Not a legacy of glory, not a crown, but a burning in the marrow that won't drown. Blood of the Allfather carved into the bone. Blood of the Allfather never fully known. I am the vessel and the vessel is the fire. I am the debt that precedes all desire. Norway, 2015 AD. Jarl-Eirik Håkonsson issued the decree. The practice of Berserker Gang is hereby outlawed. Those who persist will be exiled. The old world closed its final door. They called me in before the winter settled, before the first hard frost had locked the bay. The Jarl sat high, his new faith had emboldened, his hands clasped tight, the way the priest would pray. He did not shout, that much I will grant him. He spoke in measured tones across the hall. He said the age of war fury had ran thin, that civilized men no longer need the call. I stood before him with the bearskin folded across my arm the way my father taught. I did not argue, I was too controlled and too old to fight a war already fought. He gave me silver, gave me passage southward. He said it was a mercy, not a shame. I walked out through the longhouse door and northward into the tree line, and I never came. You can outlaw the ceremony, you can exile every skin and drum. You cannot reach the part of me that's only answering when the Allfather says come. I am the last berserker walking in the snow. The councils made their laws and watched me go. But laws are words, and words are only air, when what you're trying to outlaw lives in the bear. I am the last berserker on the northern edge. The new world built its fences and its hedge around the old, but old things don't obey. They simply wait beneath for their day. I've lived 2 decades in the grey, between 2 decades past the Jarl's decree. I've served in armies where I wasn't seen as what I was, just what I helped them be. When the shield walls buckled, I was sent. When the line collapsed, they brought me out. They didn't ask my name or what it meant. They only needed what the beast was about. And always after, I was thanked with coin and food and very careful distance. The men who'd used me stood and quietly ranked me somewhere past the edge of their existence. I've learned to read the look, it never changes. The gratitude that wants to also flee. The way relief and terror share the ranges of what the civilized feel when they see me. You can outlaw the ceremony, you can exile every skin and drum. You cannot reach the part of me that's only answering when the Allfather says come. I am the last berserker walking in the snow. The councils made their laws and watched me go. But laws are words, and words are only air, when what you're trying to outlaw lives in the bear. I am the last berserker on the northern edge. The new world built its fences and its hedge around the old, but old things don't obey. They simply wait beneath for their day. There is a grief in being the last thing, but nobody is coming after you. No younger hands to pass the bearskin wrapping, no younger eyes to pass the knowledge through. My teacher's teacher wore this ritual. My bloodline carried this across the age. Now on the final chapter, the residual, the last surviving word on the last page. And when I'm gone, the thing I carry goes under somewhere in some forgotten sun. The pressure builds the way the winter grows, and something wakes that cannot be undone. Because you cannot legislate the thunder, you cannot jail the storm inside the chest. You cannot keep the deep cold world asunder from the ones it chooses and forgets to test. Odin does not ask permission of the Jarldom. Odin does not wait for a decree. He pressed his mark into me in the darkness, and that belongs to him, not Jarl Eirik. I am the last berserker walking in the snow. The councils made their laws and watch me go. But laws are words, and words are only air, when what you're trying to outlaw lives in the bear. I am the last berserker, and when I fall, no epitaph, no stone, no skull, no hall, no skull, no hall, just the bearskin left behind on frozen ground. And somewhere in the north wind, just the sound. They never found the bearskin. The historians noted the exile. They noted the law. They did not note what walked out of the tree line 3 winters later, during the siege of Trondheim. They only noted the siege was lifted. The third winter came before the second left. The sun rose low and never cleared the mist. The harvest failed and left the barns bereft, and something old and cold began to insist on pushing through the walls of every home, on pressing through the cloak and through the skin, on telling every living soul alone that this was not a natural discipline. This was Fimbulvetr, the 3-year dark. This was Odin tightening his arc, a fate around the world he built and loved before he let the chaos come uncuffed. The children asked if spring would come this year. The elders looked away and kept their peace. The warriors sharpened swords against the fear that some of us had felt but dared not speak. When the sun forgets to climb, when the frost refuses to resign, when blood grows cold between the brothers' hands, that's when Ragnarök begins to stand. Fimbulvetr, 3 winters and no dawn. Fimbulvetr, the warmth of everything gone. The world is not ending all at once, you see it, and slowly in the cold gradually. came to me in the second year. His eyes had changed to something I don't name. He said the grain was running thin and clear, and looked at me as if I was to blame. I had seen that look in other households. I had heard the stories from the east of villages that cracked beneath the cold's long pressure and unleashed the beast. The editor said this moment would arrive, when kinship would become the battlefield, when every man would fight just to survive, and loyalty would be the first thing killed. I put myself between him and the door. I said, whatever comes, we do not break. He held my eyes along an frozen floor of silence, and then nodded for our sake. When the sun forgets to climb, when the frost refuses to resign, when blood grows cold between the brothers' hands, that's when Ragnarök begins to stand. Fimbulvetr, 3 winters and no dawn. Fimbulvetr, the warmth of everything gone. The world is not ending all at once, you see it and slowly, in the cold gradually. Fimbulvetr, the hunger and the hate. Fimbulvetr, when brother chooses fate over blood, over vow, over everything sworn. This is how the world of gods is torn. The third winter arrived without ceremony. No thunder, no announcement, no great sign. Just the absence of the sun's old testimony, and the frost arriving 7 weeks before its time. And I understood then what the Velva meant, when she said the worst part wasn't the fire. The worst part was the long, cold, slow descent before the flame, the interminable mire, the waiting for the ending to arrive, the uncertainty of what form it would wear, the daily question, are we still alive, in the way that counts, or just breathing air? That is the cruelty of the great undoing, not the single blow that takes the light, but the slow erosion, the quiet eroding of everything that made the darkness worth the fight. On the last day of the third winter's grip, we heard Heimdall's horn across the ice, and all the dread we'd carried let it slip, because an ending beats the waiting twice. At least when the fire comes, you know. At least when the flood arrives, you move. At least in Ragnarök you finally go past the frozen purgatorial groove. So we raised our cups to the coming storm. We toasted every winter we survived. We said we kept each other cold and warm. We said at least we kept the blood alive. Fimbulvetr, 3 winters and no dawn. Fimbulvetr, the warmth of everything gone. The world is not ending all at once, you see it and slowly, in the cold gradually. Fimbulvetr, the hunger and the hate. Fimbulvetr, when brother chooses fate over blood. And now the horn rings out, and Fimbulvetr becomes the shout. Fimbulvetr. He knew long before the first horn sounded. He'd sat upon the shelf and seen the day. He'd sent the ravens out and they'd expounded on everything that waited on the way. He'd memorized the prophecy in silence. He'd drunk from Mimir's well and paid the eye. He'd studied every form of death's compliance and stored it all beneath the one-eyed sky. He'd gathered all his warriors, the chosen, 540 doors in Valhalla wide. 800 warriors through each door had frozen into readiness, just standing side by side, waiting for the morning of the ending, waiting for the horn to break the dawn. Odin walked among them, not pretending, not performing, just a father before the storm. He did not speak of hope because he knew. He did not promise victory, no gods do. He only said, when the time arrives, stand and show them how a warrior dies. Odin at the gate, the Allfather waits. Odin at the gate, the moment concentrates all of history into a single point, all of myth into a burning joint, where the old world and the ending finally meet, where the god of gods stands on his own defeat and chooses any way to raise the spear. Odin at the gate, and he has no fear. Gunner in hand, the spear that never misses, he led the Einherjar across the field. There was no calculation in his visage, no strategy except, I will not yield. Fenrir came for him specifically. Prophecy is rarely imprecise. The wolf who'd waited almost mythically was always going to be the Allfather's prize. And Odin, who had seen it, went toward it, not ran from it, not tried to ride it new. Because the kind of wisdom that affords it knows some things you simply see them through. He knew that Vidar would avenge the swallowing. He knew the new world needed what came next. He knew the cost of greatness is the hollowing that every god must pay, despite the text. He did not speak of hope because he knew. He did not promise victory, no gods do. He only said, when the time arrives, stand and show them how a warrior dies. Odin at the gate, the Allfather waits. Odin at the gate, the moment concentrates all of history into a single point, all of myth into a burning joint, where the old world and the ending finally meet, where the god of gods stands on his own defeat and chooses any way to raise the spear. Odin at the gate, and he has no fear. I have tried to understand that kind of courage, the kind that walks toward what it knows will kill. Not the warrior's courage, blind and fervent, but the father's courage, knowing, going still. He had all the wisdom of the 9 worlds. He had all the ravens and the runes. He had watched the Norns spin out the 9 worlds, and he went anyway beneath those moons. Because the alternative to facing the thing that comes for you within the dark is to spend your life forever bracing and never being anything but the mark. He chose the field, he chose the spear, he chose to lead his warriors with no cover. He chose to be remembered without fear, as the god who stood and fell and gave the world another. Odin at the gate, the Allfather waits. Odin at the gate, the moment concentrate all of history into a single point, all a myth into a burning joint, where the old world and the ending finally meet, where the God of gods stands on his own defeat and chooses any way to raise the spear. Odin at the gate, the Allfather was never not here. Vidar tore the wolf apart with his bare hands, and the boot that had been assembled from all the leather scraps every cobbler ever cut away. Odin was avenged, but the field was silent, and the sky was burning, and the God of gods was already somewhere else. After the burning a quiet, after the flood a shore, a green thing pressing through the riot of ash and char and what came before. The daughter of the old sun rising, a new light, younger, warmer, low. Two humans in the ash tree hiding, leaf and leaf thrasir beginning slow. No gods to order what comes next, no Aesir shouting from the sky. The world is raw and unperplexed, the world is simply asking why. Not a bad why, not a grieving why, but the first why, the open question of a morning that forgot to die and kept on going past its lesson. This is what the burning was for. This is what the flood prepared the floor for, something that could never have been born without the world that came before being worn. Down to the seed, down to the root, down to the deepest and the absolute. The new earth rises, green from the old grey sea. The new earth rises, quiet and finally free. Not free from the struggle, not free from the cold, but free from the weight of carrying what's old. The new earth rises, Balder walks the field. The new earth rises, the dead begin to yield their grief and guilt and come into the sun. The new earth rises, and the world's begun. Balder returns from the darkness where he'd waited patient as a stone. He comes without the old harness of the doom that made him die alone, and her there beside him forgiven, the blind one who had thrown the spear, both released from what was given as the cruelest story of the year. They sit and speak of what they remember, of Asgard gold and what it held, and somewhere past the warm ember of a new sun is what was felt, and somehow it is still there echoing in the marrow of the new world green, a memory of what the swallowing of everything had only really meant to clean. This is what the burning was for. This is what the flood prepared the floor for, something that could never have been born without the world that came before being worn. Down to the sea, down to the root, down to the deepest and the absolute. The new earth rises, green from the old grey sea. The new earth rises, quiet and finally free. Not free from struggle, not free from the cold, but free from the weight of carrying what's old. The new earth rises, Balder walks the field. The new earth rises, the dead begin to yield their grief and guilt and come into the sun. The new earth rises, and the world Fimbulvetr emerge from the branches. They are not heroes, they are simply here. They look at what remains and what the chances of building something without the old fear. They have no saga, no pre-written glory, no prophecy that tells them what to do. They are the first page of an unwritten story under a sun that's absolutely new. And this is the part the scouts forgot to mention. This is the part that got buried under flame. That Ragnarök was not purely destruction, it was the world removing its own shame. Every cruelty that was baked into the structure, every old wound that no god could address, every fissure, every fracture, every rupture was finally completely given rest. And what survived was something worth preserving, was something in the human chest that chose to stay inside the tree, to keep on serving whatever came. Wait and rose. So when you hear the horns on the dark morning, when you feel the frost and see the sky turn red, do not interpret that as only warning. Look past the fire, look past all the dead. Look for the tree, look for the one still breathing. Look for the new light rising in the east. Look for the green thing under all the seething. Look for the world already past the feast of ending, already reaching up through the gray, already tasting what the new sun brings, already quietly making its way into the long and unremarkable beginnings. The new earth rises, green from the old gray sea. The new earth rises, quiet and finally free. Not free from struggle, not free from the cold, but free from the weight of carrying what's old. The new earth rises, Baldur walks the field. The new earth rises, the dead begin to yield their grief and guilt and come into the sun. The new earth rises, and the world has just begun. The Velva saw this too. She saw the burning, she saw the flood, she saw Surge's sword scorching the sky. And then she saw this, a field of green, two hands in the dirt, something small growing. She did not tell Odin that part. Some things are only for the living. Not all the worthy go to Odin. Half go to Freyja, half go to Fólkvangr. The field of the people. History forgot that part. The warriors didn't. They sing of Valhalla in every hall. They sing of the Allfather and the golden. But there is another after the fall, another destination, less soft and golden. In the telling Fólkvangr, the wide field where Freyja takes her half of the honored dead, where the meadow is the sword and the shield laid down, where a different light is spread. Sesrumner, her hall white-seated vast, a different kind of fullness than the north wing of Odin's preparation. Here the last wound does not reopen in the morning. Here the warriors rest in the profound way that the battle-weary truly need. Not the endless sharpening, but the ground of something that is not yet classified. Greed or softness, something in between. The warrior who gave everything and more, and needs before the next great to convene with what they are. beneath the sword. Freya is not gentle, do not err. She is the goddess of the love and war. She knows the cost of both, and in Fólkvangr she honors what both asked and what it tore. Fólkvangr, the field that history forgot. Fólkvangr, where the second half was brought, not lesser, not the consolation prize, but the other half of what a warrior comprised. Fólkvangr, where Freyja keeps her own. Fólkvangr, where a different seed is sown of what comes after giving everything. Not the march, but the remembering. I have wondered what she chooses by. What is the mark that sends the slain her way? Instead of the ravens crossing the sky, for Odin's hall, what does the difference say? Perhaps the ones who loved as hard as fought, perhaps the ones who carried both the sword and something softer, something that they brought to every battle past the Iron Lord of pure aggression. Those who knew the names of children they were fighting to protect, who felt the full weight of the stakes and flames and still went in with everything unchecked. Perhaps the ones who were not only warriors but also fathers, lovers, builders, kin, who carried more than one world on their shoulders and fell with all of it still held within. Freya is not gentle, do not err. She is the goddess of the love and war. She knows the cost of both, and in Fólkvangr she honors what both asked and what it tore. Fólkvangr, the field that history forgot. Fólkvangr, where the second half was brought, not lesser, not the consolation prize, but the other half of what a warrior comprised. Fólkvangr, where Freyja keeps her own. Fólkvangr, where a different seed is sown of what comes after giving everything. Not the march, but the remembering. Odin and Freyja divide the field. This was the oldest agreement made, before the Aesir and Vanir had sealed their peace, before the war treaty was paid. Two kinds of afterlife, two kinds of honor, two kinds of what the worthy dead receive. Not one above the other, not a one version of the other. Just believe that a life fully lived contains both the fury and the tenderness in full. That the warrior's highest oath was never only the pull of the blade, but also the pull of the face at the door before the ship left the shore, and all the beautiful and terrible weight of that brief grip. Both deserve their hall, both deserve their field, both deserve the feasting and the call of what they built and what they never healed. Fólkvangr, the field that history forgot. Fólkvangr, where the second half was brought, not lesser, not the consolation prize, but the other half of what a warrior comprised. Fólkvangr, Freyja and the honored slain. Fólkvangr, half the worthy, half the same, worth the sacrifice of love of all. History forgot, but Freyja kept the call. They are not lesser, they are the other half. Every saga that forgot them told only half a story. Freyja remembered. She always does. The last thing I felt was the cold of the field, and then warmth, and then the sound of a hall I had never been to, but somehow already knew. and the strange absence of the pain, the split second when the body stepped aside from everything it was supposed to feel, and left me standing in the field gone quiet, like the moment after thunder when the real world reassembles after all the riot. The grass was gray then gold, I couldn't say which came first, the color or the sound of horses, and a voice not far away saying simply, "You were chosen, come be found." She reached down from the saddle, eyes like winter armor, bright as the reflection of a star. She said, "I watched you at the wall, the splinter of the shield, the last stand from afar." I said, "Am I?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Did I?" She said, "You did." I said, "Was it?" She said, "The best I have carried since I first was bid, to find the worthy in the dying field." She said, "You did not flinch, you did not kneel." She said, "You held the line without the yield of everything a man can lose and feel." I died well, and I know it in the bone. I died well, I did not die alone. I died at the edge of something worth defending. I died with my face toward the not yet ending. I died well, not meaning I died easy. I died well, meaning nothing in me stepped back from what the moment asked of all of it. I gave the full, and I am not called to call it anything but what it was, complete. The hall was loud the way a hall should be when it is full of those who live to fullness. The mead was passed immediately to me, and no one asked for story, only witness. The seat beside a man with silver beard, who didn't look at me for 3 long minutes, just raised his cup as if he'd always knew this greeting, as if this was all there was in it. Just 2 men at a table, meat and fire. Just 2 men on the long and crowded bench. Just 2 men who had climbed a little higher than comfort, and now sat without the clench of waiting for the other boot to fall, of watching for the blade behind the curtain. I set my cup down, looked across the hall, and for the first time in my life felt certain. I said, "Am I?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Did I?" She said, "You did." I said, "Was it?" She said, "The best I have carried since I first was bid, to find the worthy in the dying field." She said, "You did not flinch, you did not kneel." She said, "You held the line without the yield of everything a man can lose and feel." I died well, and I know it in the bone. I died well, I did not die alone. I died at the edge of something worth defending. I died with my face toward the not yet ending. I died well, not meaning I died easy. I died well, meaning nothing in me stepped back from what the moment asked of all of it. I gave the full, and I am not called to call it anything but what it was, complete. I think about the ones I left behind. I think about them in the quiet hours between the feast and training, in the mind that still remembers morning and the flowers in the yard, the smell of bread at dawn, the weight of small arms around the neck. I think about the things I'm moving on from, and I don't pretend to not check the grief of it, the genuine good grief of loving what you left and leaving it. Because the thing that gives a life its brief and burning meaning is the living it, all the way to the edge and past the edge, into whatever comes after the fall. I held to that, I honored every pledge, and now I feast inside the hall. And I know it in the bone. I died well, I did not die alone. I died at the edge of something worth defending. I died with my face toward the not yet ending. I died well, not meaning I died easy. I died well, meaning nothing in me stepped back, pulled back, held back, fell back. I gave it all, and I am never going back. They ask me if I miss it, the living. I say every morning. They ask if I regret it. I say, not one breath of it. Both things are true.
Valhalla. 540 doors, 800 warriors march through each one on the day of Ragnarök. Odin did not build a paradise. He built an army, and he called it heaven. The roof is made of shields laid flat and gleaming. The rafters are the spears of those who came. The benches stretch so far past any dreaming that the far end has forgotten the near name. The mead runs from a goat upon the rooftop. The boar is slaughtered every single night, and every morning rises at the full stop of dawn, alive again and cooked just right. The warriors feast from dark until the sunrise, then train until the shadows grow again. Not in idleness, not in the surprise of paradise, but sharpening for when the horn of Heimdall splits the sky in two, and every door in Valhalla swings wide, and what pours out will be the overdue reckoning of everything inside. It is not rest, do not mistake the feasting. It is not pleasure for the pleasure's sake. The meat is fuel, and the beast that's basting is the war machine that Odin needs to wake. The Hall of 500 doors stands ready. The Hall of 500 doors holds steady every warrior who ever fell with honor, every blade that broke beneath the honor. The Hall of 500 doors is filling. The Hall of 500 doors is building something enormous toward the day it opens, and every door becomes a dawn unbroken. The new arrival stands at the threshold, confused by how familiar it all feels, as if the muscles and the blood and threshold of who he was already knows the seals of this place, already recognizes the smell of pine smoke and the iron ring of sword on sword, the morning's exercises, the sound that every warrior's childhood dreamed of bringing. The old ones nod, they do not over-welcome. They make the space beside them at the bench. They hand the mead across without the seldom ceremony, just the quench of what the road to this hall always cost. A life given fully, without flinching. Not the lucky death, not the accidental, but the death that was the full and central point of everything that came before it. The death that was the final punctuation of a life that knew itself and bore it all the way through to its destination. It is not rest, do not mistake the feasting. It is not pleasure for the pleasure's sake. The meat is fuel, And the beast that's basting is the war machine that Odin needs to wait. The Hall of 500 doors stands ready. The Hall of 500 doors hold steady every warrior who ever fell with honor, every blade that broke beneath the honor. The Hall of 500 doors is filling. The Hall of 500 doors is building something enormous toward the day it opens and every door becomes a dawn. Unbroken, what do they talk about at the long tables? What do the greatest warriors say? When the feast is done and the meat enables the conversation past the blade, they talk about the small things. This surprises the ones who imagined only war and glory. They talk about the summer, the sunrises. They talk about a child, a particular story. A moment on a hillside long before the first sort of morning in the grass. A woman's voice, a hand upon a door. A world that moved too quickly and too fast. They talk about the things they would have kept if keeping had been an option. If the choice had been between the honor and the slept in mourning, the quiet, the unheroic voice. But then the drum begins before the sunrise, and they rise because this is who they are. Not men who chose the small and compromise, but men who always reach for the most far. And that is why they're here and not below, in the gray of hell's domain without the fire. That is the difference, that they're choosing to go past the safe and higher, always higher. The Hall of 500 doors stands ready. The Hall of 500 doors hold steady every warrior who ever fell with honor. Every blade that broke becomes the honor.
The Hall of 500 doors.
When Heimdall sounds the horn,
540 doors swing wide,
and Odin's army is reborn. They have been training for a very long time.
they are ready.
They have always been ready.
That is the only thing
Valhalla was ever for.